Two, one. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Television, Radio, and Podcast Talk Show. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning 2 p.m. on the Eastern Time Zone. As I get to ride home with you in the afternoon, you may find us on television right there in Alabama, close to Huntsville, Channel 182 on Charter Communications. You can also find us on Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Don't forget the podcast on thenewscasters.com and the biggest country radio station in South Carolina, WZLA. Make sure you listen to Benji and Lacey in the morning. Brother and sister team, they may say a few things that are weird out there, but I'm going to tell you what, if you're looking for the latest in local and regional and national news, you'll find it from Benji and Lacey. Thank you again so much for letting me be part of the team. Something else we're going to be announcing in just about another week. And I can't wait to tell you about that. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk right now without further ado. I've got AP Steadham with us. He's been a resident with us for a very long time on Donna's Edge, and always glad to be with him. Thank you again, AP, so much for being with me on the show today.
Hey, Donna, thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it, as always.
Well, I have to tell you, I'm getting email from folks who are like, what's going on now? Why is it, why are things changing like they are? So let's talk a little bit more about the transfer portal. I can see some great things coming out of it, and I can see things that I don't see as so great. So what's your take on it?
Yeah, well, the transfer portal, Donna, they made it that 1 week or that time frame in January, where they used to have the two transfer portals, one in January or around there, December, January, and then they had one in the spring. Now, the SEC had a distinction that you couldn't transfer within the conference during that second one, during the spring. Now there's just the one for everybody. So you have to make all these quick decisions in December. You're trying to finish up your games against your rival, the conference championships, the bowl games, the playoffs, the recruiting, the signing of the junior college players. I mean, you're getting them from everywhere, and the transfers, the high school recruits as well. So I guess I'm fine with the fact that there's that one transfer portal window.
Yeah.
Or in January, whereas before it was two. Of course, the SEC, they limited themselves between within the conference. So I'm fine with the one transfer portal, but you lose out some players. They don't compete in the bowl games and maybe some in the playoffs, for instance. So, but that's the way it is designated at this point. So I'm fine with the transfer portal because we've seen players that, for whatever reason, maybe you arrive at a school and the person who recruited you is not there. Maybe they switched to your position coach along the way, and you weren't, let's say you're a wide receiver, you're not getting the ball enough, and you're thinking, I've got to get more opportunities, so I have to make a change. So I understand those situations. You're a quarterback, maybe not competing as you want for the starting position. You're an offensive lineman, you're second string, third string. So I understand the transfer portal window. Maybe you're not getting along with the coach, or there's not the harmony with the coach, the head coach, the position coach, the assistant coach. So I understand the transfer portal window, and I accept it. And that's part of the game of football and college athletics at this point.
The only argument I can think of is when a player almost feels forced not to play some of the games at the end of the season.
Right.
They're almost forced to make that decision. And I can't really see that. I don't know whose fault that could be. I don't know that it's anybody's fault except for the person who put the rules together.
Yeah, these rules, Donnie, it's like the scorecard. If you don't have them in front of you every day, you're thinking, they made this rule, they changed this rule. I mean, because they had the red shirt rule, it was 4 or 5 games. If you stayed within that limit, then you had that year, you captured that year again for your red shirt season. So you've got to be abreast and cognizant of all these rules that are happening, and there's strategic moves by the players and their agents or representatives or family members that decline to play the rest of the season because they want to transfer and they want to maintain that red shirt position. So it's a fluid situation, Donna, and it's sometimes, like I said, if you don't have the rules in front of you daily, then you're misled or misguided, or you quite understand for the average person. But the players, they know their status. They're abreast of their status. So as long as they know, then that's all that's required.
Yeah, I think so. It's almost like you have to walk around with a dictionary playbook.
Yeah. Yes.
Of all the new things that are happening, just to make sure you're on top of everything.
Yeah. And I would like to say, Donna, the last couple of years have been so different. And when you have all these new coaches arriving on campuses, there's no way that you can compare these coaches to the prior tenure of these other coaches, because it was different rules. Mm-hmm. These coaches that you saw before, it was more of a steady process with the rosters, not transferring every year. So you're trying to compare the coaches and say, well, he's not performing as well, or she's not performing as well as the last coach. Mm-hmm. Different era. So I would just say to caution fans, and I know it's difficult for them to temper their expectations, and but you're trying to look at your coach through a different telescope or different microscope, let's say, than a couple of years ago.
We're not using 8-track tapes anymore.
No.
So we have to be able to transition to that. But I'm just telling you, coming from the old school, I understand folks being reluctant about that.
Yeah. It's highly competitive, Donna, now, because of the rosters, the similarity in the rosters. So the coach 10 years ago, you might have had a distinct advantage at some school. Mm-hmm. You're getting much better recruits and an abundance of them, whereas the other coach, he's striving to get a couple of good players that really are SEC level, let's say.
I'd like to know what you think about this, because back in my day, you wanted a good team. Okay, so there had to be a unity between the coaches and the players. They had to be a team. I'm talking a real team where they were expecting each other. They were looking forward to 10, 20 years from now, going and having reunions and things like that. Right. But we're seeing that kind of close out right now. Do you think that because the success of any team is a team spirit. Do you feel like the spirit is going away?
Yeah, exactly, Donnie. You bring up a good point. That's the question mark for coaches in Donna. You're going to hear this term from some coaches. And just to bring up a point, I was with the Auburn coach and the Alabama coach last evening. So you can watch those videos on my YouTube channel, AP As We See It, Alex Golish. But he mentioned a term that was kind of unique. He said the efficiency, he used that term, efficiency of creating the culture. And as you said, having that team unity and chemistry. So that's the new term, efficiency of creating that culture and the team chemistry.
Well, I'm pretty sure they're going to figure it out. They're smart enough.
Yes.
And then once it's working a couple of years from now, we're all going to go, I get it. Okay, it's fixed.
In players, Donna, let's remember, I think the adults sometimes, as the adults, the alumni fans, they get concerned where players are so used to change and transition growing up. Donna, some of the players, they've been at 2-3 high schools. So this is nothing new for them.
Mm-hmm, right.
It happens all the time.
Culture than we did.
Yeah. So they adapt much quicker than the adults are. Oh my goodness, you're going to your third school, your second school, fourth school. But it's nothing new to some of these high school players that have been around they've been traveling since they're 12 years old, Donna.
Well, see, what we always did, because Phil and I have moved a couple of times. We moved from Alabama to Charlotte back to Alabama, and Brad was young during those years. He adapted pretty quick, but I did not want to move. I would say, let's wait until summer. Let's wait until school is out. Before we move. I don't want to move him out of the school in the middle of the year. To me, that's a big deal. But he probably could have adapted much better than I did.
Maybe so. Yeah, I think that's a good policy. That I'd wait till the end of the year. I would if I had to make that type of decision. I would.
It was. I thought it was much better. Instead of taking him out, putting him in. But by the time we moved to Charlotte, though, he was going into college, so that was not really that big of a deal.
No.
Because he stayed in North Carolina when we moved back to Alabama. But yeah, just little things like that we think about, because my dad was a minister and we moved a couple of times. Right. And sometimes it was in the middle of the year and it was like, it was tough, because you had all of your friends that, and then going from one school to the next was a different,
Yes.
I was an average student at Oxford High School. We moved to Geraldine High School. I wound up being the head of the whole math club. It's just different. And not that it was a bad school or anything like that, but
Right.
it's just like, my friends at Oxford were like, "You headed up the math?" And I said, "Yeah, I get to represent the school in the math contest." So, and those are different. Those are things that, sometimes you just
Yes.
need to think about. I think even in today's culture, we need to think about those things.
I think so for sure. But anyhow.
We're going to
So-
be ready to go into a commercial break in just about a minute. Tell folks about your show, AP as We See It.
Yeah, Donna, thank you so much. Yeah, AP as We See It, we're on weekly, and you could check your local listings. But plus, we're on our video portion is on our YouTube channel, AP as We See It. It's on Spotify. It's on stations around the Southeast, and we try to get interesting guests. This week, one of our guests is going to be Michael Butler. Michael's out of the Tallahassee, Montgomery area. He has a Lindy's football report, so we always have fun discussing Alabama and Auburn and the SEC and college football in general. So he's been a friend of the show for a very long time. But like I said, our YouTube video channel, it's really having fun with all these different interviews. Like I said, last night we were with the Alabama and Auburn coaches, so those videos are available. We discussed the upcoming season and, of course, the quarterback situation at Alabama, the new coach at Auburn. He's trying to change that culture and provide an efficiency of the chemistry. So you can check out those interviews as well. We really appreciate it. And subscribe and tell your friends about it. We really appreciate it.
We're going to have to go into a commercial break, but when we come back, most of your questions when we come back are going to be about Alabama, Auburn, Clemson, South Carolina. So get ready for it. We'll be right back in just a few minutes, folks. You hang in there. Queen City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. Finding the right home isn't just about bedrooms and square footage. It's about comfort, security, and the feeling you get the moment you walk through the door. That's why so many families across Greenwood and the Lakelands area trust Jenny Ferguson with Keller Williams. And I'll tell you from personal experience, Jenny was my realtor, and she truly cares about her clients. Jenny takes the time to listen, to understand what matters most, and to guide you every step of the way, whether you're buying your first home, upgrading, or ready to sell. Because this isn't just a transaction, it's your life. With local knowledge, personal care, and a commitment to getting it right, Jenny Ferguson makes the process simple and even enjoyable. So if you're thinking about buying or selling, now's the time to make your move. Call Jenny Ferguson with Keller Williams in Greenwood today and take the next step toward a place you'll truly love coming home to. Good afternoon, Sunshine. Medical Minute brought to you by Dr. Chuck with Lakeland's Chiropractic, where an ounce of prevention is worth what? A pound of cure. So what is the Beamer? Okay, now the Beamer uses very gentle pulse to electromagnetic signals. This will stimulate healthy muscles and it supports the temporary blood flow. Now let's talk Beamer and circulation support. Now the Beamer gently supports natural circulation in healthy muscles. Now that's what I call natural health. Thank you so much for watching your Medical Minute, brought to you by Dr. Chuck. You know who he's with. He's with Lakeland's Chiropractic, where an ounce of prevention is worth what? A pound of cure. I hope you have a super duper awesome rest of the afternoon. You take care. Shine your style at Kiss My Glass right here in the Anderson Mall. There's a place where style meets sparkle. At Kiss My Glass, every piece is handcrafted, custom designed, and made to shine just like you. Owner Beth Gibson brings creativity to life with stunning custom tumblers, gifts, and one-of-a-kind pieces you won't find anywhere else. Look for the perfect gift or something uniquely you, from bold and glamorous to simple and elegant. There's something for every style, so stop by, get inspired, and leave with something unforgettable. Kiss My Glass inside the Anderson Mall, Anderson, South Carolina, where your sparkle begins. Be sure to check out Kiss My Glass on Facebook for updates and specials and gift ideas.
Lowe's knows that the projects you build in spring are the ones you can't wait to share. It's why we make sure you have our best deals with My Lowe's Rewards, and that you get help from people who've
been there,
done that.
Try this.
This spring, we'll help you build something rewarding.
Hey, Stan.
What's up?
I made you something.
Oh, thank you.
And I got something for you. You grew these?
Of course.
Lowe's knows how to help you spring.
Okay, folks, we're back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Television, Radio, and Podcast Talk Show. I've got AP Steadham with me. AP has been with us for a number of years, and you guys in Alabama already know about AP. Well, folks in South Carolina know about AP now. So you have a lot of questions, and this is pertaining, let's just start with Alabama and Auburn. Everybody wants to know your thoughts on Alabama-Auburn. Do you think that Alabama's going to get a little kickback from the new coach at Auburn? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Auburn, they brought in their quarterback from South Florida, Alex Golish, Byron Brown. He was a very productive quarterback. He had the 42 touchdowns, most in the country, 28 passing, 14 rushing. So, and then he brought in a host of receivers as well. So I think it bodes well for Auburn that offensively it should be an improvement over the last couple of years, because normally Auburn plays fairly good defense, competitive defense, but you get worn down during the season. If your offense struggles, you're doing that Tennessee Waltz 1-2-3 kick. And so the defense is overburdened with too many repetitions on the field. And over the course of the season, you're battered, you're really struggling physically because there have been too many plays on the field. You need that balance to have your offense carry you as well during these games. So I would say you look forward to Auburn having a presence offensively that's much better and improved with the coaching staff, Alex Golish that he brought in from South Florida. And then, but Donna, everybody is always asking me about the teams. And I tell them, look, when Vanderbilt can beat you, that tells you it's very competitive, because as you know, Vanderbilt didn't win a game. I think it was about 3 years ago in the conference. Mm-hmm. Now they're beating out teams like Alabama and competing against anybody, bringing Texas right down to the wire with that highly publicized roster. Texas's roster, Donna, this season reported to be around $47 million. Who would have thought? Who would have thought 2-3 years ago Texas is going to pay $47 million for their roster?
Well, again now.
Yeah. So to answer your question, Alabama, they're trying to sort out their quarterback position, and that might take a moment. And then Auburn with a new coaching staff. But I expect all of these games. When you look at these teams, I'm not sure I'm expecting a bad performance overall by anybody in the SEC. Now, they might not win as many games as their alumni and fans wish, but I think that people are going to be competitive. Kentucky's got a new coach, Will Stein, Arkansas with a new coach, Florida with a new coach. I think you're going to see all these teams just battling every week in the margin. It'd be interesting to see the margin of victory for the entire year in 2026, down to see if it's one of the smallest in the history of the league.
Well, let me ask you this. So by design, do you think the new rules and regulations are making it, maybe by design, was to make it more competitive with all teams?
Right. That's a good question. Now, I'm not sure if somebody had that in mind exactly. I know that they had to be paying these players when you're paying these coaches well over $10 million, and the players have been trying to get paid for 50 years. I'm not sure if that was the goal, but that was the consequence, Donna, I think, to make it more competitive. And Donna, you hear a lot of grumbling from the adults. You don't hear any from the players, right? Because they're getting paid. I haven't seen one player complain about this new system with transfer portal and getting money, right? So no complaints on the student athlete side of any sport. I haven't heard, but a lot of complaints from the alumni and the fans, the grown-ups, right? The adults. But when you look at this situation moving forward, I just think it's a lot of fun to every week. I'm not sure, you don't know what's going to happen on the field. And Donna, the sport has never been more popular. Okay.
It's almost like every game with every team is a nail biter.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's the fun thing about watching football is not knowing how is this going
I love that. Yeah. I love that. The drama every game provides. And like I said, Donna, it's never been more successful. People are flocking to the ball games. And you hear people grumbling about, I'm not going to buy my tickets anymore. Hey, Donna, there's 10 people in line to purchase those tickets.
I know.
There's a waiting list. There's a long waiting list. So you do hear the people that aren't satisfied with the transition and the change with the transfer portal, the name, image, and likeness, other facets of college athletics. But Donna, it's like I said, it's as popular as ever. Mm-hmm. So what does that tell you?
Well, let me ask you another question. This one came from Eric, and Eric wants to know if you know who the lowest paid football player is.
Oh, no, I do not. I don't know that fact. I don't know, but I'm sure that person is happy as well because they weren't being paid before.
I think so. Never being paid before. So you're still getting something out of it.
Yeah.
But how it varies, I mean, I guess it just really depends on the school.
It probably varies. I'm thinking, Donna, I don't know this for a fact, but just an observation, I would say, I'm thinking probably it's like maybe 50,000, between 50,000 and 100, maybe it's the lowest. I'm talking about in the SEC, not around the entire country, all the conferences. Let's say it's something like that number, upwards to 4 to 6 million. Mm-hmm. That's the disparity, the range and what's being paid through the NIL with each player on the various teams.
Okay, so I'm going to college. I don't want to be in college debt forever, but if you're getting $50,000 a year, that's going to go a long way if you don't spend it on stupid stuff.
Yeah. I tell people all the time, Donna, great point again, that if we give you money from a university and a school, I can't tell you where to spend your money. But if you're telling me you don't have enough, I'm starting to think, well, who's receiving your money? Now, if you're giving it all to your family, and we know that happens, that's on you. That's on you, right? But you can't come back and tell me, well, that's not enough money. What do you mean it's not enough money? What are you doing with the money? Did you buy the most expensive vehicle out there? Or what did you do with the money? Uh-huh. So see what happens, Don, a lot of time the family thinks they're entitled to the money. Uh-huh. That's a very difficult thing for that student athlete. They want to help people in their family, but all of a sudden they don't have any money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we've seen that happen a lot.
A lot. That's a frequent story. That's an old story. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So I would think that there needs to be a mentor around who can talk with these students about, save some of it, have some wild money if you want to, but save most of it for your college degree.
Yeah, I think most of these players receive some guidance from the schools, mm-hmm. and financial literacy. I know that for a fact. But Donna, hearing the information and applying it to your life, those are two different. That's a bridge. You have to cross that bridge.
Well, and then think about this: the lottery. So I've done a study on this. I had a show about this a few years ago. Almost everybody who won the lottery, they wore $1 million. They didn't have the $1 million. I mean, first of all, taken out of it. But that is blew it on stupid stuff. And then they didn't have, and then family members who, this one lady said, I had family members who haven't spoken to me for years. When we won the lottery, they were coming out of the woodwork. And, sometimes that happens.
Yeah, that happens. And when you have money as in everything in life, you're exposed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know that people would always say, well, football builds character. And I always believe that football or athletics exposes character.
Yeah. And boys, can I say something to the boys? Don't let the girls who've never even given you the time of the day start coming around now.
That happens too. That happens too.
Okay.
I know.
About 3-4 minutes left in this segment. You want to say something about Clemson and South Carolina? They're waiting on you.
Yeah, Donna, the thing about Clemson and South Carolina has the established quarterback, Lenora Sellers. We know he's very talented. But every year, Donna, you're having the influx of talent, and the quarterback needs support. They need the receivers to catch the ball, the offensive line to block, so they can have a good running game and have balance. The tight end has to catch the ball. The running backs have to run through the right hole, and the coaches have to make the right call. So we know that South Carolina has a very good player at the quarterback position. That gives them a chance. Mm-hmm. You're looking at Clemson, there's still a slight battle there at the quarterback position. So we know that Dabo, he's trying to revive the program. Had 7 wins last year and lost in the bowl game. And he's not happy. No one's happy at Clemson. No one. South Carolina as well. I think they were 4-8. Their final record. So both schools in South Carolina, they're trying to rekindle that winning spirit. But we know that the quarterback position is crucial. Clemson is trying to figure that out right now between a couple of candidates. There's a player from Hoover, Alabama. Then they have a freshman, I was told from, I think it was Arizona. But South Carolina, they have the advantage at the quarterback position at the moment. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. But they're both in conferences where the games are competitive because Clemson has not dominated that conference in years. Mm-hmm. So we know that they must have their best performance and good coaching. And that's critical for them right now. Because Donna, with this transfer portal, the name, image, and likeness, as we mentioned many times, and we did on today's show, that the rosters are very similar in talent. So it's a whole new world. But Clemson and South Carolina, Clemson, I would think, would have more of a chance to be considered one of the top teams in the conference if they get things settled at the quarterback position. And then South Carolina, they're trying to get into that winning column again, where it's over 500 and above right now.
One more question, then we're going to have to go. Okay, within the SEC, who's the underdog right now that you think could pull it off?
Yeah, the underdog. That's and Donna, it's so difficult, let's say, to project because of the turnaround of the players. But I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at a team like Missouri. They have the quarterback transferred from Ole Miss, Austin Simmons. He was highly recruited. He was injured, and then Trinidad Chambliss came on board, and then he ended up being the spark for that team and probably one of the top quarterbacks in that conference in the country. So maybe I'd like to see what Missouri does with Austin Simmons at the quarterback position. There's some other teams as well, but maybe Missouri's the team I'm going to keep an eye on.
I promised one more. I promise this is the last one.
Okay.
Vanderbilt. Is that the little chihuahua that's like eating at everybody's heels?
I tell you what, they got everybody's attention the last couple of years. Okay, then they had the record-setting 10 wins, and but they lost their quarterback. Second in the Heisman Trophy race and other races. But so they got the quarterback, a young quarterback, a hotshot quarterback. We're going to see if this freshman quarterback, if he's named the starter. He was taken away. He was Georgia was the other school he was looking at. So to win that battle, that's a total large victory for the Vanderbilt and their coaching staff, Clark Lee. So we'll see how he performs at that position. But Vanderbilt, he's a very good coach, knows talent, paying the right people, I think. So we'll see what happens if they can keep that momentum. He
could be the Lee Iacocca that wants to turn everything around. You just never know.
He has so far.
Hey, thank you so much for being with me today. And thank you guys so much for watching. You're the reason we do what we do. Continue sending email. I love it. Donna at donnasedge.com. Donna at donnasedge.com. And I'll see you next time. You have a super awesome rest of your day.